All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. This is Twist Gaming, where you get to play board games with us. We're coming to you live here from the PhD Speed Gaming event in Chicago, bringing you all the cool board game and board game accessory coverage today. And right now, we are joined with Agnieszka from QWorkshops. How are you doing today?
Hello, I'm doing fine. How are you?
So far, so good. So I see a bunch of stuff on our table here today. What have you brought to show off to us?
Oh, awesome stuff, as usual. So we've got all the new types of dice. Some of them you might have seen before, and some are just the first time in the show.
So for those of you watching at home that maybe aren't familiar, QWorkshops is a dice manufacturer. So you're making all kinds of dice for us. I see we got like a full RPG set here. I'm assuming you got some different ones too, because I see a big boy on the table that we're going to show off in a little bit.
We do specialize in RPG dice. So, basically any campaign, any game, any setting you play, you can find dice for your role-playing game with us. And we're based in Poland, but we export a lot, and we're present in the US. We've been present here for like 14 years now, so we're here,
Fantastic.
So I think that the strongest point here would be our metal Call of Cthulhu dice set.
Okay, so this is what we got over here, and this is pretty hefty. So we've got a full RPG set here, and let's show this off for you. It's got the I picked the good side too. That's the traditional like Cthulhu look to it, and it's got the elder sign there that I put up on the camera for all of you to see at home. But it's got the traditional numbers on all the other faces. So I'm assuming that was the 10, and I just threw the elder sign up before.
That's a D8 you got there.
Oh, D8. Okay. Yeah, there we go. I've played RPGs before. All right, so that's the D8 there. We got our D6. Everyone's favorite, the D20. Couple of D4s.
And D4, that's not that pointy.
Yeah, it does. I feel like with D4 sometimes, if you drop it on the floor, you got to watch out to make sure you don't step on it, because it might cause some debilitation. All right, so these are our metal dice here that we're playing around with. So they've got some heft to them. Can you talk to us a little bit about the metal dice compared to some of the traditional plastic dice that you offer?
Oh, they're definitely more fancy, and some players like to treat them as like premium dice. So if you've got a especially important role to make, like it's the final boss you're fighting with, then you go and you take your metal dice and you're like, yeah, go on,
special
challenge
occasion
me.
Dice, yeah.
Because they can be pretty difficult to use, with every roll, because they're usually not that legible as the plastic dice.
Right.
But I think they're totally worth it. And also the sound that they make when they roll is pretty unique.
Hear this, but this is a stone table. Maybe that wasn't the best choice. But if it was a wood table, you get a nice satisfying thunk to it, right?
Definitely, yeah. Yeah. So some people say that those dice are like table chunkers, actually, but we haven't had any complaints about that, any specific complaints. So you shouldn't worry about that.
Gotcha.
And some other interesting stuff that we got new on the show would be new dice for Pathfinder RPG. So we're official manufacturer for dice for Pathfinder RPGs.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we make each set to accompany a new campaign they release. So these are the dice for War for the Crown. They're blue with gold, so they look really luxurious. I'd say.
Very pretty.
And also some of the new stuff would be new kinds of a classic RPG dice sets, which is quite nice because they've got only the numbers. Because for us at QWorkshop, it is important that the dice have a theme, that they have a feeling. So usually our dice have the numbers and then something extra, like a little dragon on the dragon's dice or something.
Or the Cthulhu Elder Sign, stuff
tentacles. Like that. But the classic dice set is the one that we have that's the most legible, that's clearest, because it's just the elven numbers on it and that's it. But then we can do something a bit more fun with the colors. So we've got 3 new colorways for the classic dice sets. I've got one to show here.
Okay. So what are we looking at there?
Again, a full RPG set of 7 dice and beige dice with burgundy paint.
Burgundy, okay.
I've got so many colors, you cannot just call them red and green and violet.
You gotta have a good name for them.
And also, this is the new stuff, and I also want to show. It's a hit location die. It's a big jumbo D12 die with 12 possible locations when your character or enemy can get hit.
So these are all
during a
unique
day.
locations on this dice as well. Oh, that's really cool. So add a little bit more flair to your game instead of just your DM making up where you're getting hit. You have a dice that's going to tell you you're getting smacked in the stomach, in the leg, in the face.
Yeah. Well, again, you or your opponent, right?
Yeah.
So that can work that way. Yeah, some games have that specified in the rules, and if they haven't, well, then here we are with the dice location, hit location die. And also they come in 6 colorways, so you can choose whichever you think is the most legible or most adequate for your character or for your game.
So I do want to point out beforehand, you brought a nice green one to show off, and it was very pretty, but unfortunately here on the stream, you guys know if you're watching at home, it'll show up as a lovely clear die, and that doesn't really help us out too much showing that off.
That's true. And then again, one other thing that I want to point out to show, it's a Viking Dice set.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite new. It's been out for a couple of months now on the market, but still it's getting to be one of our best sellers too, because again it's not a specific. It's not game specific.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for a particular game.
It's just thematic.
Yeah. So whenever a Viking is involved, you can use it.
And so that's got some of the detail elements you were saying before. That's got kind of some almost like a Nordic scroll work around the outside of it there, just to give a little bit more pop to the design.
That's our thing.
All right, so I got to ask you, very important question here. What's your favorite dice set that you offer at QWorkshop?
I think I'll go for a Metal Call of Cthulhu one that you showed before.
There's something very special about metal dice for sure.
Also, I love. Well, it doesn't sound good to say that you love Cthulhu, right? I am a big fan of the whole mythos and Lovecraft and Call of Cthulhu. So it's just, and those dice are quite unique because also they've got tentacles on the edges. If you take a closer look.
Look at that. If you could get an up close and personal there, so you can see that the edges there have the tentacles running down. It's not a square edge to those dice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I think they are special, and they would be my favorite if I were to pick one. Although that changes.
I'm sure it changes on a regular basis. You got too many offerings, right?
I know.
Just so many things here. So where can we? What's some of the price points that we're looking at for the stuff that we showed off today? How much are these Metal Cthulhu dice?
These would be amongst our most pricey dice, of course.
Obviously, they are a luxury item.
I think that the MSRP for them, if I recall well, is $70. Okay. But then the plastic dice sets come from 13 to 21 for MSRP. So.
And then how about this hit location die? Is this something you just buy by itself, or does it come in a larger set?
No, you can buy it. You can get it yourself. It comes in a separate box. And if I recall well, it's like a $7.50.
Oh, not bad at all.
So good. We also offer, and in fact, that's a show special for this event, like a dice sets display. So you can get a full display of dice if you just if you're a retailer and you're just starting.
Show that off there.
The adventure with QWorkshop.
It might be a little too big of a picture, but it's a pretty nice display. I'd want one.
All right, you can come see it in our booth. Do
I get to take it home with me?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, it was worth a shot. Is there anything else that you wanted to tell us today about the dice offerings from QWorkshop?
Well, only the only thing I can say is that we've got, as you mentioned, we've got so many products, we've got so many themed style dice, that I think that everybody can find something to their liking. And our motto as a company is all dice tell a story. So you can get your own set of dice and you can tell your own story with it. So that's.
Fantastic. I like it. So thank you so much for joining us today, and thank all of you for watching at home. Stay tuned for more coverage throughout the day today here at the PhD Speed Gaming event in Chicago. But for now, signing off, I'm Matt. Thank you so much. Good night, everyone.
Thank you.